I'm going to give you a list of the 10 must-have things as a serious pitmaster.
Big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
If you love the car outdoors and you want to get started, or even if you want to become more advanced, then I'm going to tell you what tools you're going to need. I'm going to show you exactly what you should buy, what you shouldn't buy, not to promote a specific product, but to help you get further in the process of being a really good pitmaster. So without further ado, let's start with number 10 on the list, and that is a spatula. Yeah, I know. But listen here. I'm using spatulas on the daily. As a matter of fact, I got one right here that is my absolute favorite. So spatulas come in all shapes and sizes, but this one is big. And if you've been barbecuing for a while, then you know that if you're cooking a big fish, then at some point it becomes real delicate and it falls apart on you. So you're going to need a spatula. And if you have a small one like this, you're going to be in big trouble. So get yourself something big and reasonably strong, and you also want to make sure that you've got a sharp edge. That way you can scrape off the crust, like that. You might not know this, but it's also very handy to clean your cutting board. When I Google this product, I find a price that gives you this one and this one for the lowest price of 21 euros. Now we're coming to number 9 on the list, which is one of my least favorite topics. I got a love-hate relationship with this one. Let me show you. Sometimes I use these. Look at this. This is super cheap, but it's also flimsy. And that's exactly the reason why I hate this topic, because there are a lot of bad tongs on the market. As a matter of fact, there's not one that I particularly like. See, this one is pretty good, but it's also a pretty standard tongue. But the problem is the grip strength is not really there. Look, my hand is big and I can't squeeze it enough to really hold the steak. Luckily, there's also more of like a pro series to this, a luxury version, which makes a better tongue, so I can hold it better in my hands. You see that I'm not getting really excited, but still it's one of the most important tools when you're grilling. When I Google this product, I find a price of 37 euros at Lowe's. It might be that it's no longer on the European market, but what I need you to look out for is a tongue like this with edges pointing down, but not too much so that you damage the meat, and a handle that is big enough for you to hold and apply strength with. At number 8, we got a brush, a silicone brush. This might seem crazy, but the silicone brush in barbecue is very, very important. If you ever cook ribs, there is no way about it that you're actually going to need a good quality silicone brush to get the sauce on the ribs. And maybe one of the most annoying things, especially when you do professional barbecue, is that you want to have the ribs looking absolutely perfect. But I also have a bad example. This is what you don't want to get. This is like a supermarket brush, but it has these thick silicone hairs. And if you brush sauce onto your ribs, you're going to get these little stripes. I'd rather avoid that and just invest in something like this. This goes easily in the dishwasher. No need to worry about cleaning up. The prices I'm finding, a good price for this is, wow. I got one here for 10 euros. 10 euros, about $10, maybe $12. That's a good price. And we got number 7 right here. It's not like I'm getting out random stuff from my kitchen here, but I use these things on the daily, and that's why I have them so close by. They're also maybe not the prettiest looking anymore, but these are the tools that really work for me. And what I can't live without are gloves. If you're making pulled pork or you're cooking a brisket, you're going to need some gloves to pick up that brisket. But if you wrapped it in butcher's paper, chances are that there's hot beef tallow on the outside of that brisket, and that's why you're going to need some insulated gloves that are waterproof to pick up a big piece of meat, because then you have to squeeze it to get all these little strings to fall apart. We actually sell these in our own web shop, so that's an easy find at PitmasterX.com. These sell for 60 euros. So you get 2 gloves for that price and you're good to go. If you find that price a little bit on the high side, I have an alternative. You can buy these heat liners. So you're going to put on a heat liner, and then you're going to take a latex glove and get your hand in there. That's also going to work. It's going to be a little less expensive, but in the end you're throwing them away, so you're going to have to buy new ones. And whereas the other one's just going to stay, oh, mine broke already. But this is how that works. So it's cheaper when you purchase this first, but it's not really a great recommendation as an alternative. If you don't know yet, flat top griddles in the backyard are a big trend. But it seems kind of wasteful to buy another flat top grill when you already have a barbecue. And that's why we are now getting things like this. This is a heavy duty stainless steel flat top griddle. Not one of those steel ones that you have to re-season every time, but one that is extremely heavy duty. And this is just as high quality as a stainless steel flat top griddle that you get in professional restaurants. And the best thing is you can just put this in your existing barbecue. Now this one is a really high-end version of it, and the price that I find here, lowest prices are about 188 euros. I'm even seeing here one for 151. Now that is a steal for such a beautiful product, and it saves you having to buy another barbecue. If you don't want to invest that much, also have an alternative, and that's this. Well, mine's not really super clean, but this is a cast iron flat top grill. It's a little bit smaller and it fits in barbecues like this, a smaller size. And that's really cool because you can have one portion of the grill for flat top grilling and the other portion for regular grilling. And those you can find as for as low as 65 euros. And that's really cool because that's going to change your whole grilling game. You're going to get perfect sears on burger every single time. At number 5, I like to talk about wireless thermometer. Owning a wireless thermometer should be on your short list. So if you don't know what's going on in your barbecue temperature-wise, chances are really high that your cook is going to fail. You see, before we were talking about accessories that help you do your job, but this is a barbecue tool that actually is going to save your cook. Without a thermometer, you're pretty much helpless. Specifically, you're going to need a wireless thermometer because most of the time you have to keep your barbecue shut to cook the meat. Now this is the chef stamp, and it's got a lot of sensors inside this probe. It's going to measure the temperature inside the meat at different points and tell you the average. It's also going to tell you the temperature inside the barbecue at the exact location that you're cooking your meat at. And I really like this version because it's nice and thin in the probe, but it's still big enough to handle properly putting in and out of the meat. Of course, you can have a nice base station to charge it in, and it doesn't just hold one, you can have a couple of spares in the back as well. Of course, all of this works with an app so you can control it, but it will also tell you the time left in your cook. And honestly, that is the most asked question that I get. How long for this to be done? Or how long for that to be done? A good wireless thermometer will tell you exactly that. The price currently listed is $150. And then we go straight on to number 4, which is a probe. I got loads of these. I got them everywhere. And the reason that I have them everywhere is because I don't want to be without, ever. But a probe like this I can use to measure anything, anywhere, even the pool temperature. So here you need to think about your steaks, burgers that you're going to be grilling, or if you want to do a check on the wireless thermometer. Sometimes they come in a more expensive form factor, but you also have these at a very inexpensive form factor, which are nice and compact, but will tell you the exact temperature. A thermometer like this is going to cost about $70. But a small thermometer like this is only going to cost $30 or about 28 euros. And again, for the price of this thing, you cannot afford to not own a thermometer and know exactly what's going on in your steak or your burger. And now we're getting into the top 3 of essential tools that every pitmaster needs. And here we come down to one of my favorites, which I'm honestly pretty proud of. Because these are, ta-da, the PitmasterX seasoning series. But I'm not just proud of this seasoning, it's really good. Now the recipes for all of this seasoning you will find on our website, so you can make them yourself. Because what I want is people to go out and barbecue and enjoy. So if you want to make your seasoning yourself, go ahead, do that. But if you're looking for an optimized form of your self-mixed seasoning, you're going to get this series of seasoning. It's going to have the right structure, the right flavor profile. And with this seasoning, you won't ever fail your cook flavor-wise. Number 2 on the list, as important as this is, a cutting board. This is my cutting board. And weirdly enough, I've been using it for a long time now. Somehow this cutting board is so strong that it can handle anything I throw at it. It's made by Pro Woodcut from Italy. There are a couple of guys that have their own little shop, and as a matter of fact, they stopped, but they started up again. It's more a labor of love than anything else. Now, of course, I own a lot of cutting boards, like this one. It's a nice big one, and it allows me to put big pieces of meat on, but there's a problem with this cutting board. You see, the elements in this cutting board are glued together lengthwise, and that means if you start cutting on the board, you cut it halfway through the grains, destroying the grains, getting thick cuts. So this board is not going to last as long as a cutting board like this. Now there's no PitmasterX cutting board available, but you can look up Pro Woodcut and you can order your own with your special logo. Of course, you also have to do some maintenance on it, and I'm not the best at that. But the best thing to do is put some bee wax on it. But if you're outdoors, bee wax tends to get a little hard in the cold, and therefore I'm going to use a little bit of oil every time I clean it up, because I clean it up with hot water and soap. And then all I need to do is put that little bit of oil on, rub it in, and then give the board a little bit of time to soak up that oil. How much does a cutting board like this cost? Let's check it out. So I'm finding prices here from about 170 euros, 150 euros to probably something like 155, but mine will be probably more like the prices of 280 euros. And if you want to have a customizable logo on it, the prices are going to be even higher. Now, one more thing that I like about this is the feet that I haven't talked about yet. I like the feet, it's nice. I also like the grip, it's also nice. Last one, number one. And of course, it has to be the knives. This is my knife for 10 years, daily for 10 years. I can't stress that enough. This is the Wusthof Classic Icon, and as you can see, I've mistreated this knife on many occasions. I know it's not fair, I know I should do better, but I love this knife. It has to be a tool. If you want to chop a chicken bone, bam, you should be able to chop it. If you buy an expensive Japanese knife for 600 euros or dollars, or even 1200 euros or dollars, and with one cut you destroy it, you didn't buy the right knife. Now, as you can see, I got some burn marks here, I got some scratches right there. I've etched out the logo. I don't know what happened here, but lots of mean things have been done to this knife. I put it in the dishwasher on the daily. And the reason that I do that on the daily, because I have to use it a lot. It's a tool. And after 10 years, it still works. Just look at the balance of this knife. You see where the balance is. You got all this length, but here is the balance. And why is that so important? If you do a lot of cutting and you hold your knife and you're cutting it like this, so basically the pinch grip is on the handle, not on the knife, then ergonomically that's going to be wonders for your wrist. So to me, it's really strange that some chef schools train their chefs with the pinch grip like that, because that is not ergonomical. Look at my wrist, how that sits. That's not good for you 8 hours a day. But if you look at my wrist like this, the strain is a lot less. So I will only need physical therapy after about 2 weeks. Chopping, 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 chopping. Let's go check the price on a Wusthof Classic Icon. Prices are somewhere in between 118 euros and 199 euros. That's a lot of difference. So do some research. But there's also an alternative to this, because I see lots of people buying lots of expensive knives. I also have this one. This one is made by Napoleon. And if we take a look at the balance, you see it's not perfect because it's falling to the side, as you can see. But the balance is also on the handle. Now, I've treated this knife in exactly the same way. You can see that there's some damages and some cracks, but it's been properly mistreated for many, many years. But I see that the chef's knife of the Napoleon that I have right here, the current price is about 30 euros. That's insane low for a knife like this. It works well, it's going to be fine for most people. And honestly, if I use it on the daily, then why can't you? So to sum up the knives, don't spend 500 euros on a knife. Only buy that one special knife if you got a lot of work for it. If you're cutting a lot of vegetables, then maybe you want to go Japanese. If you then still want to spend a lot of money, then I'd rather have you spend it on a sharpening tool. This one might be a little overdone for most people, but it's a sharpening tool that is very easy to use. You set the angle, you take your knife, just pull the knife through once, twice, and then strop the knife, and you can actually feel the burrs on this thing. This sharpener is called the Tormek T1, and it goes for 399 euros. You can buy something a little less expensive, like it's like a rolling sharpener, and it goes for about 170 euros. Or you're going to buy a sharpener, a diamond sharpener rod, and that's going to set you back only 20 euros. And I use that thing the most out of all. So this is a diamond sharpening rod, and then this is a honing tool. So you use this to sharpen your knife. You have to figure out the right angle and how to hold it. And then you're going to finish off with a honing rod to take off the burrs. So this is it. These are the 10 things that I use the most on a daily basis as a professional pitmaster. They lasted a long time. I enjoy using these tools, and I promise you they're not gonna fail you. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, then leave me a big thumbs up and a comment down below. See you guys in the next video. Until then, eet smakelijk and keep on grilling.